Hello everyone, I'm back for my third video. I hope you're enjoying the face-to-face or whatever you call them videos. They are new, haven't done them before. Normally I'm hid behind some graphics, and I've got a script prepared and with music in the background, and I thought I'd just try something different, becoming less nervous with each video that passes. I even had the courage to do a dad joke at the end of my last video, which I'm not sure all of you stayed to watch that, so maybe that wasn't a bad idea to do that. I was trying to encourage people to stay to the end to listen to that, but I don't think that worked. Although I do impressions, and I'm going to try. I'm a man of many talents, you see. So if you stop and stick around till the end, I'll show you my whirlwind impression, and it's well worth a like and a subscribe just for that alone. But on with this video, I want to talk about the present moment, and how that can help with everyday life, your mental health, help get rid of those horrible thoughts that you've got in your mind. Because a lot of us, most of the time, we're either thinking in the past, or thinking about an imagined future. In the past, you could be replaying conversations or something that happened over and over again. It could be a traumatic time that you went through and you can't stop thinking about it. And that brings up a lot of emotions, emotions like anger or regret or sadness, trauma. And then there's the future, where my mind's quite often in an imagined future. I'll be worrying about something and then worry about a worst case scenario, something that might not necessarily happen, but it's fearing what could happen in future, which again takes you out of the present moment. The present moment is powerful. There is only the present moment. Everything that's happened in the past is gone, and the future hasn't happened yet. So peace can be found in the present moment. That's the only place that it can be. So trying to be in that the present moment as often as possible is what I aim to do, and there are things that I do to try and do that. So I thought I'd share some of those with you. The first one's simple. It's just noticing your breath. Just stop whatever you're doing throughout the day at different stages and just take a nice deep breath and just feel it. Fill your lungs and then breathe out. And, again, that's taking your mind off the past and the future, and you're just concentrating on what's going on right now. So just a simple thing as just taking a nice deep breath can bring you into that present moment. Also listening, what's going on around you. Excuse me. You could be going out for a nice walk, and listen out for things like the birds singing. I've been sat outside before and worrying about something, or getting wound up by something that's happened in the past, and I'm not listening to what's going on. And when you really do listen, you can hear the birds singing, and it's beautiful. There could be all different types of birds, or not just birds, it could be other animals as well, but that really helps you become present. And nature has a great way of doing that. And I can even remember a while back sitting in the garden, it was a nice sunny day, and I was just watching an ant for about 5 minutes, and I know it sounds really silly, but, for those 5 minutes, it was just me and the ant, total oneness. And, I was just focusing on what he was doing, going about his life. And it was lovely. And even things like listening out for, the wind rustling the leaves, or, if you're indoors, it might not be a nice day outside, but, you listen to the rain against the window, or, if you are outside, listening to the rain hit the leaves in the trees and the rustling, and some beautiful moments that we quite often miss because we're not present. So nature and, is a great way of bringing us into that present moment. But you might live in the middle of a town or a city, and there's not much with regards to greenery and animals and things like that, but you can still listen out for something simple like, listening to a clock on a wall ticking, or even just the gentle murmur of the traffic outside and the noise and life going on around you. It's just having that awareness. It doesn't have to be, birds singing, and, so they're just examples. It can be absolutely anything. Another thing I try and do as often as possible, sometimes I forget, is I'm very lucky because I've got some great cooks around me. My wife is an amazing cook. But when you're eating, how many times are you not really savouring every mouthful, or the texture and the taste and the warmth of the food? It's so easy. Like, I eat my dinner and I'm watching the telly, and I'm focusing what's going on, on the telly, or I'm thinking about something, and before you know it, the meal's finished, and you think, oh, that was lovely, but I didn't really enjoy it and savour every mouthful as much as I should. And I've done it quite a few times. I'm trying to do it as often as possible, but just take your time when you're eating and really focus on every mouthful, and you'll enjoy your meal. Even a beautiful meal like I get most days, you'll enjoy that even a bit more, and the benefits of that, you're present, you're just using your senses, you've listened, earlier on was talking about listening, and now we're talking about tasting, and even the smell of the food when it's cooking just brings you back into that present moment. Same with drinking, whatever you're drinking, just do the same. Just every sip, just, savor it and just enjoy it, not just focus on something else. And, then all of a sudden you've got an empty cup and you think, I don't even remember drinking that. It's a shame because, again, it's another sense, taste. It helps you bring you back into that present moment. So listening, like I say, focusing on what you can see as well. I was saying about the ant, I was watching, and, you could watch, I don't know, anything. Watch people watch, just be aware of what people are doing. Ducks on a lake, or, just even sat round at home, if you're lucky enough to have an open fire, just watching, the flames, and just be there and aware. What you can hear and what you can feel as well. It's like when you're having a shower, just feel the warmth of the water on your body, the texture of the soap, that sort of thing. And it's instant grounding, it just brings you into that present moment, and it's beautiful. And when you're out for a walk, just listen out for the crunch of the leaves beneath your feet. Just be aware of everything that's going on around you, because that awareness, and that present moment, it just takes all of that thinking about the past and thinking about an imagined future out of the way. And just throughout the day, just try and pause. You might have a very stressful job where you're getting caught up in all these dramas and people's stories, and you feel yourself getting stressed or anxious. I've got a job, where, there are some very stressful situations that can arise, but it's just every now and then, just take that breath, or just sit back and just almost watch yourself as if, you're watching a movie. Just be aware and just look around, and, you can see a conversation going on, and, again, just listen out for the, using your sight, your ears and smells and things like that. But, first of all, just take that breath just to bring you into that moment, and use that as an opportunity then to be aware of, what's going on around you. The present moment isn't something, we have to create. It's already here. We simply just keep leaving it a lot of the time. So the more you can be in that present moment, and like I said earlier, please let me know if there's anything that you do to bring yourself in that present moment. You know, a lot of people meditate, things like that. I do every now and then. I used to do it regularly, but I do less now. But you can still be present, and you don't have to just sit there with your eyes closed. You can have that awareness and just that ability to just take a step back and just watch what's going on, and, you know, be in the moment. Earlier on, I mentioned about my whirlwind impression. Okay, it is good, so I do expect some likes and subscribes just purely from this. This is not the chair creaking; it is actually my knees, because I'm getting on a bit now, but need a bit of a warm up for this. But, you know, if you're ready, I'm going to do my whirlwind impression. So, ready? I actually got a bit dizzy. I do other ones as well. There's the, you know, light, gentle breeze, which is. I'm going to have to stop now because I've gone all dizzy. But thank you. I hope you enjoyed that. I'll produce another video in the next few days. But yeah, thank you so much for everyone that's watched my videos so far and subscribed. I hope they help. You're helping me. We're in this journey together. I'll see you at the next one. Thank you.